I made this fun little quilt for the blog hop for Calico Joan from Mustache Quilting. The theme of the project was called April Showers, and I made this cute little elephant quilt. Come join me as I show you how I made this quilt from start to finish. First of all, I have some scraps of fabric from my On Point quilt. I'm not going to be using too much of this, but I just wanted to let you know that it was available in case I pick it up for anything. The other thing that I have on the table is this scrap, this pie plate of scraps that I've been throwing out from the projects that I've been working on recently. So this is going to be a really scrappy project of things that I would normally throw away, that normal quilters would actually throw away. The other thing I have on the table is my trash can. This has even older fabric from other projects, and my goal today is that once I make this quilt, then I'm going to go ahead and just throw all of this extra trash away and start over again, building a new pile of scrap trash. This project is called April Showers, so I've cut out a pattern of an elephant with an umbrella that's holding an umbrella. This is the trunk of the elephant. I decided I wanted to be up a little bit, so I just combined a couple of different drawings of elephants and put them together in a way that I thought might work. Here's what I started with, a couple different projects that I started with. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pattern and fuse fabric to the back of this using the fusible side. So I'm going to fuse some fabric to the fusible side of this, and that way I can create my elephant and the umbrella so I can make an April Showers quilt. I've decided that I want to put some kind of ground underneath the elephant, so I thought this fabric probably would work well for that. Since we have the little horizontal stripes, I'll just put the elephant here on the back. I'm going to use a light green fabric for the rest of the background. And these kinds of projects are always really interesting to me because I never know how they're going to turn out. And so you get to go on the journey with me and see how it all works out. I was originally thinking about making this green elephant, like using some of the scraps of green, but now I'm kind of afraid that there might not be enough contrast in them. I was thinking that this fabric would make a really good blanket for the elephant because I think it's fancy without being too much. It's like the swirly pattern, I think, would make a really nice elephant. Actually, the whole thing might just make a nice elephant. I can make it even simpler. This fabric by itself would probably make a good elephant by itself, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use the scraps as I was originally intending. I do have a video where I showed you how I made an animal using the embroidered fabric. That was just a whole cloth fabric that I used. So this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and just use scraps. But I will use this for the blanket. I deleted some video here because I changed my mind about the plan. Please subscribe while I regroup. Okay, so here's the problem I have. I have the elephant cut out of scraps, but I don't really like the way it looks, and I think it's going to take some time for me to arrange the pieces in a way that will look pleasing to me, and I only have an hour to make this quilt. So what I've decided to do is to start over again with the gray fabric, and I think I'll just cut an elephant out of the gray and make a simpler quilt. So here's some gray fabric that I have, so I'm just going to cut out this shape out of the gray. Gonna need some pins to make sure that it stays in place. And I think I am going to cut the truck this direction. It's just a safety pin, and that'll work. Very long tail. This project is called April Showers. It does not have to be scrappy. That was just something that I was doing. More pins would make a neater project, but that's okay. Elephants come in all shapes and sizes. Okay, make that a trunk. Take this off and see what shape we wind up with. Hope it looks like an elephant there. I just need to trim this down a little bit to make it. Okay, so we have an elephant. It's got a hole in the leg, but that's alright. And then the trunk is a little weird looking. Maybe we can make it a little bit smaller. Alright, it looks like a folk art elephant, which is perfectly fine for me. Okay. Alright, so now I have the elephant, I have the background. Show you the background here. And I think I'm going to put a blanket on the elephant. I really like this fabric, so I was going to make a small blanket out of that. This is the selvage end, which is actually good because then I don't have to worry about raw edges on the side. Oh, this is nice. I was going to trim it down lower, but I actually like the way it looks like this. There's the blanket on the top. The trick when you're trying to do something in a hurry is to take your time to think things through, but not take too long, and it's a fine balance you have to do to be able to get there, because you do want to take the time that you need, and rushing just makes it actually make it worse, because if you try to rush it, then you make mistakes, or it makes it hard to think and make decisions. Okay, so I have this piece. I think it looks okay, but try to find something that will go well with this fabric that's already chosen. This would be good, I think. I like this fringe on here. Maybe I can add the fringe to the bottom of this blanket. Yeah, I think this looks good on here. And then I can add this color to the elephant's nose. Don't really know how high it's supposed to go. That'll be good. Okay, so now I need to work on the umbrella part. Let me find my fusible that I was using in here. Really did think a bigger umbrella would be nicer than the small one that I have started with. I think there's a squirrel on my roof of my porch. Make little noises. We could use this, maybe? I'm going to use this for the umbrella. Okay, mess that up. Start over. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half. Make a nice rounded top. And then I want sharp points. It does not look very umbrella-like. Okay, it's like a little awning. Even if it doesn't look like an umbrella, it looks like a shade of some kind. Close enough. I need a handle. I could use the same fabric, but maybe using a different fabric would help with adding some contrast. This is going to have to do. It's dark enough. I really wanted to have more than just two. Let me find the one I rejected. Could use this on the bottom to cover up that space that I don't like. Yep, I like this. And I need an eye for the elephant. And just use this polka dot, this little teeny tiny polka dot for the eye. And I think we have it. So now I'm going to try to sew all this up. I need to pin all this down to make sure I don't lose it. Already one pin in here. I'll just pin all these little pieces down onto the background fabric. Actually, I need to sew the background fabric, this bottom, the river part, to the sky part, and then I can sew this together. Okay, I'm going to trim this down into a straight line so that'll make it easy to sew. I got it all. Do it again. A little bit closer. Okay. I'm going to put on the other side. This side here, I guess I'm going to cut this in half. Just to make it more manageable. So this piece is not too big for me. Okay. So I now have the background piece and the sky piece, and I have the water piece that I can just sew together so that I can have a background. This way. Okay, now I'm going to sew the background pieces together. Don't mind these little squares from the On Point quilt. If I wasn't in so much of a hurry, it would have been nice to have this being curved a little bit just to keep it from looking exactly straight, but it'll be just fine. Now, I think I'm going to just add the batting and the backing so that I can quilt at the same time as I attach the elephant. So I'm going to do the layering of everything and pin everything down really nicely so that I can quilt it. Okay, so here's my stuff. I'm trying to think of the backing I should use. I guess this will be fine. This is gonna have to do. Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to make sure this piece is small enough to cover. How big do I want the whatever to be? This much? I think this is good. River's here. And the top here has to be cut. Here. This will all be trimmed away at the end, so it doesn't have to be neat or very neat. Okay, here we go. Layers, 2 layers down. And I need the batting. Okay, this is the wobbly end, so we'll try to use that up if we can. Okay. This is the part I have to be very careful about to make sure I'm not cutting anything but the batting. this quilt is ready to be sandwiched. The elephant, it's going to hang out on the water at the edge of the lake. Maybe a little bit lower. See, there's room for the umbrella. The elephant is taking a bath in the water. Just basting the quilt now to make sure that all the layers are secure. It's tempting to take shortcuts here, but that usually causes more problems than it helps if you take shortcuts when you're not supposed to. I think these are enough pins. The inspection. These are a little bit out. And add the blanket while I can. Some of this can wait until later, but I think the more I can put in right now, the faster it'll be. Now I have to find my fringe. Use this fringe too. This one's messier. Purple fringe doesn't look as nice as the white one did. Okay, I have 10 minutes left. Time to start quilting. I had some fused fabric here already, so I went ahead and cut this up to make little spokes for the umbrella. So I can just add those here. I'm not sure if I like the color, but I think it'll be fine. And then I added the other green fabric in the eye, so I think that'll just add enough interest to this quilt. And then I can just sew this down and then just make some quilting lines around it and then secure the edges. Lunchtime is over. Quilt is finished except for the binding. Okay, so I've sewn down all of the pieces for my elephant, and I'm going to just go ahead and trim this now. I'm just going to make sure that this horizontal line between the two background fabrics are straight, and just trim off the rest. Go ahead and just using this line that I already cut to make sure that I'm getting a nice straight 90-degree angle to cut the top. Side, the same way. Just making sure this is straight, and also this, close enough. The last side. Have it, the final quilt. I think I need to trim away a little part of the leg here just to make sure that there's a little bit of a separation between the 2 feet so it's clear that the elephant is bending the leg. Take this off. I actually had another eye in mind, but this is the one that I found. I guess I could still use this one if I think it's needed. Keep that. And I'll dot there. I still need to finish the binding. I think I do like the proportions of the quilt, so I'll just leave it the size that it is. I could easily trim it smaller here if I thought it was necessary, or this side, but I like the extra space that it has. So I just need to, so there's a little bit extra space down here that I could trim, but I think overall it's a good size the way it is, and I don't think it needs any more trimming. So here's the template that I started out with, and I just need to cut a little circle place here to show the separation between the legs. I think that's close enough. And I don't think I need to add toenails like this one had. This one has a bigger headpiece here. This one doesn't have a headpiece. So I'll go ahead and just sew up the eye and the headpiece, and I think this quilt will be done. It just needs to be bound. So here I've cut out the little space to make the legs separated more. Okay, so here's what the quilt looks like so far. I was not able to get it finished on time for the blog hop, but this is what I presented to them, mostly. I did not like the way the head piece looks exactly, so I cut up some more fabric so that I could make this headpiece. So I could just make this headpiece a little bit better looking. Yeah, it just makes me a little bit happier with this. I'm also going to add some more spokes to the umbrella just to make it look more like an umbrella. I'm just not happy really with the way it looks right now. But other than those two little touches, I think the quilt is pretty much done. I've cut up this fabric that I can use for the binding. It's the same as this blanket. And I think it'll add a nice little interest to the edges of the quilt and tie everything in better. I'm really happy with the way the elephant looks, and I am really excited about getting this quilt finished. Separate out the legs, the eyes. Since I always have my quilt upside down while I'm binding, it's always a nice reveal to me at the end to see what the quilt looks like when it's finished and bound. This is just a great way to relax and take it easy and enjoy the entire quilting process. I really like to do this when there's no deadline for a quilt. It's just to make sure that I take the time to enjoy every single part of the process and not rush through it. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make this quilt from start to finish. This quilt was just so much fun to make. It's really playing with fabric is so much fun, and it really shows what quilting is all about for me. Just putting together scraps of fabric that I have laying around and making a fun little project out of it. If you enjoyed watching me make this quilt, please make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe so you can see the other small quilts that I've made. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you in the next video.